starts early. It works hard. It stays focused. It keeps moving. It stands ready. And it carries the weight. Strong coffee for a strong nation.
Welcome everybody back to the Shadow Show, and welcome back to Beyond the Possible, number 27. If we can get Shadow out of here, appreciate y'all being here.
That's a good name for a show.
Oh, I can barely hear you,
I mean, not
James.
this show, but okay.
I had to get a mic a little closer to you. Uh-oh, lost you. We lost James.
There we go.
Okay, there
Buttons.
you
Buttons are hard.
go. You're good. Yeah, I can hear you much
Um,
better now. Nice.
the Shadow Show is a good name for a show.
Yeah, we have to be our fourth show on the channel. Be the Shadow Show. We'll just have video of Shadow being aggravating Shadow. Watch out, Shadow. Yeah, there she is. Oh, there's her butt. There's her head. Come on. But watch out. Okay. Crazy mess. Running behind, running around like a head chicken in my head cut off as always. But we're here, and we're making it.
Oh yeah.
Try now. Let's see. For the show off to a couple. Boop, boop. I was going to try to do it, but it sounded funny. I don't know if it's come out that on the other end it sounded funny or I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah. It's tech
Technology.
is. Oh yeah.
Technology is wonderful. Wonderful. But yeah, I appreciate y'all being here and we should have another fun show. Got some fun stories. What's up everybody? There we go. Got people in the chat. This is nice. Making sure everything's working right because I'm just like rah.
Hmm.
And the only bad thing about living down here, I'm about an hour from my parents, so it's like then I hadn't eaten all day, so I had to stop, get something to eat, and then come.
Yeah. Well,
And then I didn't
it's
have nothing preset to. Maybe I already have stuff already set up where it's easier. I mean, all I do is hit click the button, but I didn't do it today. But that's all right. Here we are. We're here. We are live and living in color. Here to have
Ricky is. I'm all
James.
darkness.
Yeah, James is in the
But
darkness over there.
but
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
yep. So, but yeah, glad everyone's here and yeah, I mentioned to Ricky today. I think it was today. Yeah, it was today. I mentioned I had a weird dream yesterday, in the middle of the day, and so I've had dreams like similar to this here and there for many years now, and it's always just random people sitting around on my back patio behind my apartment. Now, because of my eyes being sensitive to light, I don't sit out there. I have one chair that I never use, and and I definitely don't have people over all the time sitting out in the back patio. It's not even that big. It's a small little rectangular patio, concrete patio with a uh, like a wooden fence wall surrounding part of it for privacy between units and stuff. And I have these dreams once in a while, and they feel like more than dreams, but I never recognize any of the people that I see back there. And then, of course, I never know why they're back there to begin with. And for a long time, I used to always write those off as just being dreams, like really intense dreams. But I'm starting to wonder now. And I'm starting to wonder because of this dream yesterday. I don't remember all the details now because, of course, things fade as soon as you start waking up.
Hmm.
But I was here in my apartment. I remember the furniture wasn't even the same. It was different furniture that I didn't recognize, which is odd. And I could hear people talking on my patio. So I went and looked, and also Logan wasn't here, which is kind of weird. But that's my cat, for those that don't know. Uh, and I went and looked outside, and there's people sitting out there, and one of them came to the door, and I don't remember what kind of clothes they were, except or what exact items they were, but it was like old-fashioned clothes. Is the best I can describe it, like from I don't know decades ago. And it was this older guy, and he said hello, and he said something like, "I'm from Ricky's group." And it was odd because at first I thought, wait, my cousin Ricky? Because I have a cousin named Ricky. But after I woke up, I was thinking, no, that didn't feel right. Because when he came to the door and he said that, guess what kind of accent he had, Ricky?
Just got
A little bit southern,
little,
you could say.
a little twang to it.
It was. It was really in. I don't know who it was, or, and he handed me this book. He came inside and handed me this like paperback book, and I don't remember what it was now. And it had like a dollar bill stuffed in the middle of it on the side for like a bookmark kind of thing,
Hmm.
which makes no sense, but okay. And he said, "Here, you should read this." And I said something like, "I'm sorry, I can't do that. You know, I can't read books in print anymore." And I don't remember all the conversation after, but he said it was already paid for or something like that. And then he just walked back out, and everything started to fade. And I woke up, and I was just trying to figure it out. And of course, it was all also fading. But I'm still trying to figure out, like, did one of your ancestors, you know, come and visit me for some reason?
I guess anything is possible. Yeah, hell,
I
I people use a dollar for a bookmark. Hell, I've done that
really
before.
okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
This random. Like I don't know. I've seen my mom use whatever. I know I've had to. Just whatever you got laying around. Like if you don't, sometimes you have an actual bookmark that was made to be a bookmark, whatever. But sometimes like I need to hold this spot. Where is it? Yeah, here we go. And yeah, if you got a dollar laid around, you just throw a dollar in there. A business card, whatever,
Right.
sticky note, something, something to mark your spot. But
Yeah. So there you go, Ricky. I may have gotten a visit from part of
huh,
Ricky's group.
Ricky's group. Oh, it's wide and there's a wide variety of individuals in the Ricky's group. That's wild though.
It is. It's to have that kind of interaction. Normally, it's just people in back, and I'm like telling them like you should leave. It's this is my apartment. Like what are
Mm.
you doing here? And they don't really respond. They just kind of keep sitting there, and they did. And but now I'm wondering too, like those other dreams, they always felt so real. Was that some kind of a gathering of spirits, consciousness, souls, whatever? Like hanging out, and I just happened to pick up on it.
Could be. Very well could be.
So yeah. Anyway, that's my most recent anomalous experience that I wish I could remember the book. Um,
Yeah, that'd be cool if you knew what book it was for
yeah.
sure.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be the thing to know because that'd be interesting to look it up. Like how old the book is or whatever. Whatever the situation was. Like
I remember it looked like a modern like paperback book cover with a lot of them now they have like that glossy finish with like the um, sort of like a dark background with the title and the author on it and everything. Like
Hmm.
it looked like a modern book,
Hmm.
but I can't say what it was now.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
That's interesting.
anyway,
Yeah, I was telling no you and Cy on her show Friday. I found a possible possible haunted house. I don't know. It is eerie. It really is eerie. I ain't going in there. I know that. I
no,
got
you wanted to
close to
send
the.
me in there. I
Yeah,
remember
James
that.
going there. Yeah, James needs to go check it out for me. Come on down here, James, to the come to the south in this dreaded heat we got going on, and crawl in this house that has been nobody been there for I don't know how long. Be good. It'd be all right.
Oh yeah,
I'd be more
just
worried about the
fine.
snakes in the damn thing than they are the ghost right now. It's like the door's wide open, but yeah, I found out because there's the property that I know a guy cleaning it up. He done something and went to jail and died in jail. So they sold his property and they're cleaning. They totally. It looked like they gutted the house and totally renovated the house. So it's gonna be real nice. And so he had a bunch of junk and stuff, and he's cleaned up the property for him. And I was sitting there. What in the world is going on here? And hearing the mic cutting in and out.
No,
Hope it's not doing that. And he could.
you sound good. So
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, and that just threw me off. I just heard it kind of going, getting in and out
yeah.
there. Um, there ain't nothing going on over here. But it was weird because it was, honey, he was talking about this shed we were tearing down. I was pulling this tin off, helping him pull the tin off, and we're tearing it apart. And it turned around and there was this old house trailer or whatever sitting there, and it turned around and I was like, I wonder why he put this on. And I was like, is this the property line right here? He's like, yeah, that's the property line because you see a pole with a little flag and stuff. And I was like, well, that's what I thought that was. And he turned around and was like, yeah, that he was just doing that to mess with that old man that lived there. And he said the old man had passed away, and and it was like 10 days later they didn't find until he found his body.
Mm.
So he's sitting at that place, and like right now, it looks like everything's still in there. It looks like I just kind of glanced through the door, shadow tagger and stuff up, and yeah, and I'm like, it looks like everything's still there. Like I guess they pulled the poor man's body out and left it.
Wow. Well, that reminds me, not the same thing, but the house that mine. I forgot to do a update on that too. The house that my mom and her partner are renovating and staying in on the weekends basically right now while they fix everything up. I finally made it out there a couple weekends ago, and can't remember if I said this last time or not, but um, they they have that barn where and apparently it's still happening where things that they need that they realize they need keep appearing in that barn. Just tools, just whatever they need, just happens to be there in this barn. I didn't get to go see it when I was there because they're still working on just the ground, like the yard and everything is still very much uneven. Because the guy that had the house before them also didn't always live there. He would come there and stay out, like camp outside, but he would just store stuff on the property like everywhere. And so they've been just clearing stuff out. They cleared a bunch of junk out first, like scrap or whatever. Um, but yeah, so I didn't get to visit the barn. I call it the gifting barn when I think about it now, because it's like, oh, we heard somehow that you need this. Here you go. Yeah, and it's been like 7 or 8 times now, which is just really wild.
Hmm.
Um, but I did stay overnight in the house, and I didn't sense anything or feel anything, good or bad or anything. Just the house seemed pretty much empty of feeling, which kind of makes sense in a way. If the person didn't live there full time,
Mm-hmm.
then there wouldn't be as much residual energy built up in there, even if it's just that. Um, but oh, I did have a weird thing though with the kitchen. Remember, I always talk about how I have those dreams about a place and I don't recognize it, and then I
Mm-hmm.
eventually end up going there. That kitchen, the back wall facing the back door. I swear I've seen that kitchen in a dream before,
Oh
like
wow.
years ago. And my mom and her partner now, I mean, they've known each other for a few years, but not like several, several years back. And so, yeah, really wild. Had another one of those experiences. Walked into the kitchen and had to stop because it's just like, whoa, wait. It's a feeling I get now. Like I just know automatically. So,
That's
anyway,
interesting. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's pretty wild. If it was that you actually seen that kitchen back, in a former dream, whatever. It's a wild situation.
and I had thought those were kind of done for a while, maybe. Apparently
Hmm.
not.
I don't know. I think I hear so many people, and I know me personally. I've been having a lot. Like I go to sleep, I'm having like lucid dreams every time. Just about. It don't matter.
Yeah.
I can close my eyes, wake up, look around, like, oh, okay, I still got a while to go. Go close my eyes again, and go right back in a deep sleep and more
Wow.
lucid. And um, I can do it multiple times. It's I don't know. It's just I'm not just that tired from pushing myself or what it is, but it's pretty neat. It's pretty wild to see that. And but I'm hearing other people talk about like right now, like a lot of people are seeing there are more lucid dreams going on right now, and they're seeing different things and different possible different realities and everything.
Yeah. I don't have them every night or even every other night, but I feel like once a week at least now. I still have one of those alternate parallel universe dreams going on. Like
Hmm.
it's that constant.
Hmm. Yeah, it's always somewhere weird or just different, and just walk around. It's just like, man, what in the world?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, I thought those pre-visit dreams were done, but I guess not. Makes me wonder if some of these other I don't know though. So usually when I have those dreams, I find myself alone in the dream or in the travel, however you want to call that. And then when I'm there, I'm there with people. So I can't think of any other dreams I've had lately where um, I was in a place alone. But who knows? I mean, it's hard to say because it was some of those visits to other places. It seems like the dream went on or the visit went on for like several minutes, like a while. But then there's some that just feel like it was boom, I was there, had a few seconds, maybe a minute, and then boom, I was gone, out of there. And so it's hard to remember sometimes those shorter ones until I get to the place and remember just basically standing there and looking at the back wall of the kitchen.
Hmm. That's wild. Yeah, I always hear people talk about it, like, and I've heard have really met anybody that actually does it. You hear people talk about, well, you need to write your dreams down. Like you have a tablet with some beside your bed or
Yeah,
whatever. You hear people talk about it like on shows and stuff, but I don't think I've ever met anybody that actually does that. And um, it would be interesting to see, like if you wrote it down like every day, like had a diary, and then went back and did or like even you like recorded, like when you woke up, hit record or something on your phone and
Yeah.
recorded a a daily log of okay, this is what happened, this is where my dream was, this is where I was, blah 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 blah, and just describe it and then go back um, and like check it and see, say okay, is it like consistent, or is it really jumping around like I think it is, or be a be a interesting experiment, I think for sure to see, if there are any consistencies in the dreams or the people or just the same people are popping up or what's going on.
Yeah, I'm wondering now. I have a newer phone now. I'm wondering if maybe that would be easier now that I have a newer phone. I'd have to look up what the app is that I can record on there, but I'm sure it has one. You know, most phones now they have
Mm.
either audio and or video recording, and I would just need the audio.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll try that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Like I said, it'd be interesting to see. I need to do it myself and just go back and go. All right, here we. And as soon as I wake up, but I'm always like, unless it's just like I'm running late or something, I'm so like droggy when I wake up. I'm like, all right, it's
That's the
interesting.
problem.
Yeah, I'm looking. All right, let me get like a old diesel engine. It takes me a second to get moving, And
Yes. Well, because I sleep in the same room as my computer, but it's still across the room. And when I first sit up in bed, man, I'm not jumping out of bed. You know,
hmm
I'm gonna sit there for a minute or two.
yeah,
So
it's possible, I guess.
yeah, hmm. I'll have to try that. Cause now I'm curious. Of
Yeah,
course,
go
who
2 weeks.
knows? Yeah. I just think in my luck, I'll probably end up finding something that'll freak me out.
Yeah, it could be. It could freak you out more. Like like it's you're watching a parallel universe. You know, daytime talk or whatever. Like a soap opera. That's the word I'm thinking of. Like a soap opera. So you're watching, but it's like a alternate reality soap opera you're watching basically, and it's you in it and other people in it, and so it's like a continuation. Or maybe you're popping in at different moments of the other side. I don't know.
Watch I do. I start recording, and I wind up back in that dystopian universe where my dad and my brother-in-law were trying to kill me. Wake up and start talking to my phone and be like, "Oh man, that again?"
Yeah, here we go again into the Eeyore. Yeah, I actually had some videos to show tonight,
Hmm.
but I have it on my wrong. I've been running two browsers,
Ah. Okay.
and I have them on the wrong browser to share, so I'm gonna have to redo it. Let's see. It might take a little bit though.
That's okay.
And I got
That's
an
all right.
interesting. See where my phone at. I got an interesting rhinoceros. Um, yeah, I was watching a video earlier. I get it was interesting. Let's talk about that if you're using the Bible for science, one of the things you had to figure out is the unicorn, because the Bible talks about the unicorn like 8 times in the Bible. But
Mm.
but if you actually go back to like the 1800s, like one of the first dictionaries from the 1800s, if you look up like a unicorn, a unicornus is actually a rhinoceros, going back to the
I
ancient
always wondered
Latin.
about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually going back to ancient Latin. And if you go look up rhinoceros, it actually shows, it shows it, and you can look it up. It says unicornus. So the
Hmm.
actual, um, So an actual unicorn is actually a rhino. So they're actually there. It's just later. I wonder, you know, when did the first maybe just in the fairy tales and stuff like that, like the 1900s, did they actually start talking about like unicorns with a horn and stuff?
Yeah, horses with one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
with the horses with the horses with them. And I don't think there was nothing talked about that until like the 1900s or something. When they started doing you know token and stuff like that.
right.
Fantasy medieval time kind of stories and stuff like that.
And that's fascinating because so I listened to. It's funny because I listened to that one of those. It's only one so far, but I'm sure I'll listen to other ones too. But one of those like paranormal like video shows, where they people send in videos and stuff. And there was one video that someone sent in from like an office building of these two guys that happened to look outside and they saw the mythical, so to speak, the horse with the horn on it, like outside, and then it was there for a while, and then it was just gone. So I wonder if that thing has been made because of all the people thinking about similar thing with fairies, like you see in movies and TV shows. You know, that's not the traditional description of a fae or a fairy, and yet I have heard of people talk about how they have seen that. So, are there thought forms out there based on everyone just thinking about this throughout time over hundreds of years, uh, and or are there actual fae or other beings out there? Again, as we always talk about, that are picking up on this imagery from the minds of people that they encounter, and then changing into that shape.
Hmm. Could be.
Because I could see that too.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
It's like one of the things I've been finding lately here and there are posts from people about seeing these just humanoid figures, but no features on them, no clothes, no just like solid white or gray figure. But then they have like either partial or completely no, like absolutely no facial features.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wonder with that, are the people seeing these things because they in particular are not familiar with, let's say, cryptids, creatures like Bigfoot or ghosts or whatever, or aliens, and so there is nothing for these entities that they see to find in the person's mind, and so they just appear as this blank slate, so to speak. And or are they people seeing these figures in between states? Where it could change into something else, but it hasn't done that yet for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, like shadow people and things like that. Yeah, it could be. Like I said, and maybe you're seeing. And maybe that's why it's a good and a kind of a good name for them because maybe you are seeing like the shadow of the person from the other realm or something. And maybe
Right.
that's why you can't really see it very well, or like I said, maybe it is. 'Cause but a lot of people that do have a lot of you know theories and stuff like that on this and that. That they still see them too. So.
Yep. And some of the shadow figures people see are human shaped, but then they're massive. They're almost like Bigfoot size. And so
Hmm.
you get people wondering, are some shadow figures, the larger ones, is that somehow Bigfoot, Sasquatch in a way? Um, that can somehow appear in that shadow-like form.
How it very well could be, so especially some of them, that could explain some of them. Like we always say, like E all above,
Yeah,
um, it could be one of the letters for sure. That'd be one of the ways that that or what they're seeing. They think it's what it is. And especially when you're out in the woods and you're going around and you're like, and all of a sudden you see something, a big, dark, you know, shadow thing that's huge, whatever. Most people, because of the way people think, nowadays, especially with movies and all that, that first thing you think about is, oh, that's a Bigfoot. It's got to be a Bigfoot. No matter what it was.
right. Well, and that's like too with some supposed Bigfoot encounters where people don't actually see anything. They don't see a creature. They don't see a figure, but they get um, rocks or sticks thrown at them, or they'll hear sounds in the forest. And one of the shows I listen to, I've been on there a couple of times over the years. Where Did the Road Go? Soraya, the host over there, and a couple of his other co-hosts have talked about how it almost seems like in those cases maybe people aren't dealing with Bigfoot, so to speak, but they're dealing with more of a almost like a poltergeist energy or force or consciousness, but out in the woods instead of in a building.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
So so many of these experiences people have, they're so similar, but the only difference sometimes is the setting. And if you see a light in a house or have objects moving in a house, um, then you think, oh, it's ghosts. If you see a
Mm-hmm.
light out in the woods or you have objects being tossed at you or around you in the woods, uh, you know, I'm sorry, I messed it up. If you see lights out in the forest or in nature, oh, it's a nature spirit, it's a fae, it's a will-o'-the-wisp, whatever. If you see them in
Mm-hmm.
the sky, it's a UFO, it's aliens. That's lights. Same can be done with, again, poltergeist type stuff where objects are moving and sounds or whatever. You hear all that in the house, oh, it's a ghost, it's a poltergeist, which is supposedly a type of ghost. You hear that in the woods, again, like I just described. Sometimes people, and I'm not blaming anyone for any of this. I'm just saying that what comes to their mind is it must be Bigfoot trying to either get our attention or drive us away. But it's the same type of activity in multiple locations. But just people think of different things as being the cause because of those locations.
Mm-hmm. Could say that. A lot of people are. And some people. It's wild to see. And if they do, they do. If you don't, believe in all of it or everything, it's understandable. But like,
Right?
there's a lot of people that do that. They believe in Bigfoot, but they don't believe in ghosts, or vice
Yeah.
versa. Or they believe in
Yep.
UFOs and they don't believe in ghosts, or they don't believe in Bigfoot. So if if that's their skew of looking at things, if all they do is looking at aliens or UFOs and everything else, they're gonna put everything, they're gonna put it as Giorgio, everything's aliens, and
Yeah. That show does crack me up sometimes. How they take things that seem to me like, no, really, that you're saying, that ghosts are aliens. You know, like I can kind of get Bigfoot because they're having reports of Bigfoot coming and going around sightings of UFOs. I guess I can kind of get that, but like when they're talking about ghosts or ideas that people get that are amazing, like geniuses getting ideas, it has to be aliens. It just cracks me up. I'm not saying that it's impossible. It cracks me up. Some of the things that you hear on some of those ancient alien shows sometimes make me stop and go, wait, what?
yeah,
Wow, that's quite the leap. Okay, that's interesting.
yeah. I mean, I love watching them, and they a lot of times if I leave my YouTube on or something like that, I come home and it's ancient aliens on TV, and
Yeah,
either that or the Wi-Fi. One or the other is losing on my TV, but it is. It's like it's wild to see, and not saying that they're wrong, but
Yeah,
it is, saying, it don't. To me, it don't make sense that you put everything in that one box, no matter what it is. If I think it's a demon, it's an alien. If it's if it's angel, it's a demon. I mean, it's an alien. Angels are aliens, demons are aliens. Jesus was an alien. Everything was alien. It was, and it's like, eh, I can't put everything in the whole damn world. You know, Now some of this stuff absolutely doesn't make any sense. You know how they built the pyramids. I don't know.
right.
Certain to a certain point, yeah, it makes they could do this or that, but once they get to a point, it's like physically able to move some of them stones. You know, I mean, like, a lot of them is just it blows my mind. It really does. Like some of the stuff that they people have done over time is like, how could it be even possible? How could they
Yeah,
how could they move these massive stones as far as they did? If it was they were digging a hole right there and they pick up a stone and you could see them using trees or something like that, like Easter Island. Like, well, they used rollers and stuff. I'm like, well, they don't have trees.
right.
You know, that's a great concept. Like, yeah, they can use rollers, but they don't have trees on the damn island.
Yeah. Let
So,
alone, yeah. Let alone, you hear about that being used as an explanation for things in places that do have trees, but then you hear people talk about, well, there's no way that trees could stand up to some of the stones that were being moved on them, supposedly.
oh yeah,
Like
I
they would
mean,
they would just
hundreds of
break.
million, hundreds of tons. You know, and if the tree was big enough to roll 100 tons of, you know, mass across of it, you know, how are they dragging that tree?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
tree is so big and thick, as
yeah,
massive it is to get it back ahead. I mean, or just the other side of it is just, if okay, you can use rollers, you can use massive big oak trees or whatever. They're foot and a half thick or whatever it is. But then on time, I mean, the time frame, how did, they, of course, the Egyptologists, say, well, the Great Pyramid was built in 30 years. Like, the math don't math when you start figuring that out. If, you get how many times, how quick each stone had to be set, had to be drug up the Nile, unpulled off the barges off the Nile, even if the mile pulled right there in front of which it looks like it did, was right in front of the Great Pyramid. Still, if you unload each one, then pull it up there, get in the spot, drag it up a hill, you know, hook into it, all this kind of stuff. Like, I've been around cranes and picking up big things. Of course, nothing as massive as that stuff. With the tonnage, I
right.
guess. I've seen silos be picked up, and you know, I've been seeing some big, heavy stuff being picked up. Liquid AC tanks. They're, well, let's see, what's the biggest one I guess I've seen? It was 30-ton AC tanks and
Wow.
feeders and, yeah, conveyors, and all kinds of stuff, But the thing that, I know for sure is the rigging to do it, to move stuff, the ropes and all that kind of stuff. And of course, they didn't have, you know, Walmart or something to go, they had to make all that stuff. So they
Yeah,
had to make massive like hemp ropes to turn around and pull this stuff. It's just the the math just don't math unless they had like a million people working on it, and then it just Then you get on the other side of things of it, and it's like, okay, yeah, okay, you have a lot of people. A lot of times, if you have a whole lot of people working on one project, everybody's way,
Yeah.
So nothing gets done that way. So how did they, get around the point of, they and we're like, well, there's slaves. Like, man, there's slaves did not, wasn't master stone workers. You didn't just
Right.
find a whole bunch of master stone workers sitting in a village and drag them over there. Like, oh, okay, y'all all master stone workers. Let's bring you all on over here. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Pretty sure most places you're gonna have one or two of those in a village at most.
Hmm.
And so what are you gonna do? Go around to all the villages and get all? I mean, that's gonna take. And the other thing with all the, if you have hundreds of people or whatever trying to move one stone, and I think we've heard of this before too. If there's any kind of accident and that thing, you know, not to be morbid here, but that thing crushes anyone, it slips or whatever, that there goes part of your workforce.
Hmm.
And then how are you? It's just I don't know. It's a lot of questions there for sure.
It is. I mean, like I said, that's one of the curiosities of it. Like how maybe lean into some of the ancient alien stuff, like some technical, or like Graham Hancock. It's just forgotten history. We have amnesia. We don't remember what we did. And it's still like, well, we hadn't found these tools. We hadn't found these things. Well, we find new stuff every day, and some of
Right.
it for thousands of years, especially in the desert. It's buried under the desert somewhere. There's nothing you can, unless you're gonna move the whole damn desert, you're not gonna find everything.
Well, and I wonder too, how much. Because there's two things. I've heard before that there was, the further back you go in time, the stronger the planet's electromagnetic field was, like the more energy there was around. And then you also have to think there was less sort of a bias or dismissing of what could be powers that people had naturally that could be amplified by all this energy around them. Um, so there's all these reports of, well, they used vibration and singing and you know their minds to move things, that massive things. And of course, modern science would probably say, well, that's not possible. But we still have to this day people that have abilities here and there. It's not doesn't seem to be everyone. We don't all have these abilities we can just automatically use whenever we want to. A lot of people have things happen at random that seem to be abilities they have. But if things were so different the further back you go, uh, maybe that's why we don't have, because I don't think we all obviously I don't think we have to jump to aliens. Uh, there's enough again these ideas of telekinesis. You know, um, if it was ever a lot stronger and a lot of people way back when, then maybe you did get hundreds of people together, but maybe they weren't dragging the things by ropes. They were literally focusing on one stone at a time and levitating them. Maybe even not levitating them like feet in the air, but still a little bit at a time. I don't know. I just wondered about that the natural abilities of people and the different levels and or types of energy that may have existed on the planet further back in time, and how that all could have maybe led to all that as well.
Yeah, yeah, because for sure that we know that fields. Watch out, cat. She's over there hitting my keyboard. Um, Shadow.
Cat wants to say Shadow wants to say hello to chat.
Yeah, yeah, she's trying to type. She's trying to type on the keyboard here. Um, She's trying. But like like yeah, like Coral Castle down there in Florida. They had
Hmm.
supposedly that one guy built that whole thing. At night,
Yep.
and some of the levers, and he was a frail old man that somehow he built that whole thing. Uh,
And then I heard that the door, like the gate, one of the main gates there, like they eventually broke, and they couldn't even fix it. Like people couldn't even fix it themselves. Like it still doesn't work right the way it used to. I
yeah,
forget where I heard that.
that don't surprise me none. That is,
Yeah.
had no idea of how none of it worked.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yeah. I think there's a lot, a lot that maybe more people used to be able to do, maybe with more powers. And again, that goes back to mythology all around the world. You hear about these people and other creatures, other beings all around the world throughout time. All these creation stories, all these stories about how this part of the people in this part of the world came to be, even came to be exist, or how they got to a certain place, and there it's considered mythology. But I always wonder if there was that much of a if the planet was that different at any point in time in the past, then how do we know there's not some level of truth in that on all that mythology out there?
Hmm. I think there's always truth in everything.
Yeah.
There's always there's bits of truth in everything, especially in the past. Even though it's like a lot of mythology and stuff like that, they were trying to just explain it the best way they knew how.
Right.
So they a lot of people want to throw them under the bus, I guess you say, or whatever. And but like, well, they're
Oh yeah.
just they just they're just ignorant. They had these crazy beliefs or whatever. I'm like, no, I don't believe so. I
Yeah.
believe they especially they took the time to put this stuff down. You know, for people could see there was a reasoning behind it, and they wanted the people to see like, hey, look at it. Look at what we're seeing. This is what we got going on, and they tried to explain the best way they could.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with so many of those images that are put in stone, literally. I mean, that's not. It's not like now where if someone wants to write a story or make a video, boom, there you go, done in hours or whatever, minutes for
Hmm.
images and videos now. We didn't have that option, so you were working on whatever material you were working on, you know, and if you messed up, well, there you go, and you're probably going to work on it for quite a bit of time.
Hmm. And maybe through and through generations and stuff. It was very important to all the people there. They're going to wo-
Yeah,
work on a project for years and years and years. I mean, I can see that happening. Mm,
yeah,
Like I said, it's still like some of the time frames and it's just how long, um, like Stonehenge, how far they took those blue stones.
right.
They said that it was like generational thing. It took years and years and years. Like, of course, well, they didn't have writing, they didn't have this. I'm like, man, it had to be something. They had to have something to turn around and okay, this is how we want it. Because if you don't, like every time, like somebody's house, if you turn around and you get somebody new in a new house, well, I'm gonna change this. I don't like this right here. I'm gonna make it this way because this is the way I like it.
Yeah,
It would be the same way. It would have been constantly evolving throughout the years and however long it took. But for them to finish it up and make it exactly how it was and for everything to line up the way they do for all the equinoxes and stuff, it just had to be. There's got to be more to the story than what the history wants to tell us.
And so much had to do with sounds, and you know, I mean, we hear about there's been light anomalies throughout time too, but the sound was, I think, a lot more important than I think we're only recent years just starting to figure that out. You know, a lot of these like Stonehenge and all those places, they they were if they were like struck, if certain stones were struck or whatever, if they sang or chanted or whatever, the sounds would move around in certain ways and it'd be beneficial to them in some level, or allow them to communicate with other beings, other consciousness, possibly. Some of these places. So it all does connect. You know, it may seem like at first while we're talking here, I was thinking for a while, you know, this is fun, but you know, how does this tie all back into anything paranormal? Well, it's all energy, it's all vibration, and it all does tie back.
Hmm. It's like I seen I seen with the walls that the city of Jericho in there, like in the Bible they were talking about it, and it was how they marched around. They marched around the city of Jericho with the trumpets, and then when they blew, and then the walls come tumbling down. After so many days, and then they're like, well, that was just mythology. That was just a story. And then they found Jericho, like the city of Troy. They found the city of Troy. They didn't think it was real.
Right.
But they did find the city of Jericho, and they did find that the walls did come crumbling down. They had some kind of earth shiftness that caused them to fall down on themselves. So it
Yeah.
was, it's interesting to see, like, hey, there is some of the history, once they find it and look at it, it's funny. Sometimes they actually show it, and I think give us most of the truth. I still think they're holding back, for
Well,
whatever reason.
yeah.
We can't handle the truth. That's what, that's, yeah, like on everything between aliens and everything. We can't handle the truth.
Or if we can, it has to be really simple, like everything is demons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Uh,
I was at mom and dad's today, helping with fixing the air conditioner, and mom was sitting there watching Men in Black, the first one,
oh, good
and
movie.
he made that comment. He was sitting there, and when Will Smith was chasing the bug through the city, whatever, and he was blasting everything, and
Yeah,
he got in trouble because Kay was like, man, we don't do that. We don't use our
yeah. We do
weapons out
not
in
use.
public. He's like,
Yes.
but we have the situation. I forget what it was happening. He said we always have that. There's always
Yeah,
something going on. There's always a spaceship, but there's always a destroyer. There's always something going on. He said, but to keep people's minds where they could live in peace or whatever, we keep everybody dumbed down, and nobody knows about it.
yeah.
And
That was such a good movie.
yeah, it made you wonder, like, is it is there truth in this movie? Are they telling some stuff? Like, it was like like he went and picked up a national choir or whatever, and uh
Yep.
and the star or whatever, see, all right, well, let me find out what's going on. And like, man, those are garbage. It's like, no, these actually show the truth of what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
uh, the more, especially watching their shows and stuff like that, and the skew of things, that it's like maybe they are, they made it. It was another way they could do it. They could turn around and show us stuff that's really going on, and but make it turn it to a skew like that's just completely unbelievable. So to cover everything up.
Well, and even in that movie, they have those memory wiping devices, and at one point near the beginning, spoiler for a 30 plus, I mean 10-year-old movie, but um, near the beginning when Jay is discovering all this alien stuff, Kay does use the memory wipe thing on him,
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, Jay's asking, okay, did you ever use that on me? And he's like, no. Seriously, did you ever use that on me? No. He would not admit that he. So it's like here you have people within the same organization, different levels or whatever, and it's like, wow, that seems accurate. I mean, you have all these different levels of corporations and government and military and intelligence and all that, and there's not just one. It's not everyone doing the same thing for the same reasons. You're going to have different agendas.
Mm-hmm. And that movie's not 30 years old, James.
No.
It's 29.
Oh, okay. There you go. That makes me feel better, actually.
It's only 29. 1997, folks.
There we go.
1997.
That's good. It was Beetlejuice I was thinking of. That was like 89.
Yeah. Well, that put it, you know, almost 40 years old.
Yeah. Thanks, Ricky. Thank you.
Yeah, I watched some of
Uh,
the shows and the doom scrolling on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, and some other videos. They pop up, and it's like you do realize, like, we're closer to this than they were. If what was it? Like, if we some of the movies that were made back in the day, if they were made now, um, when time period it would be in, it's just like, what in the hell?
yeah.
And the more you look at it, it's like, holy hell, it has been that long. It has been that long. It's just like, and all you do is shake your head and like, wow, time flies when you're having fun, as they say.
It does. Also, I've got a rainstorm happening around me, so
Oh,
probably
nice.
can't hear it, but if you hear anything, that's probably what it is.
I hope we didn't get no more rain coming. I think we do have rain coming. Uh, you got me curious now. We had a rain last night at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these websites. Can we have your address? No, you can't have my location. Can we send you notifications? No, get away from me.
Yeah.
Get away. No, Monday
Oh my
looks like all
gosh.
right. Looks like maybe next weekend, some rain, maybe.
I was in I was in a Microsoft Word document because I've they've got me hooked now. I'm too used to Microsoft Word, but in the middle of the darn program, they were like, "Hey, you want to upgrade to Microsoft Premium, 365 Premium?" And it's like, I don't know, it's some crazy amount, like almost $100 or whatever. And I'm like, no, get off my screen. You know, you're already getting
No,
that much from per year from me anyway. Go away.
it's for another $100. Just for
Yeah.
another $100. Another $5 a month, $10 a month. That's when it gets you like, hey, it's only an extra $14 a month, and then you
Oh my
start adding it
gosh.
up. It's like, oh, oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of extra.
Even just trying to keep up on like trying to do research, for things. It's like, wow, I'd really like to get that streaming service, but I don't need it for just that one show or two shows or it's like
Hmm.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of things like that. It's like, I don't want to spend that money on that. I got other things I want to spend money on than that right there. It'd be
Uh,
nice to have. It'd be convenient, but like you said, like how much would I use it? And if
yeah.
I'm not using enough, it just you know, just the return in investment on investment just wouldn't be very good. Like I said, it'd be cool to have, and it's like, but you spend $150 a year on it, and then turn around and you use it twice the whole year.
Yeah.
It's cool you had it, but is it worth $75 a pop to use it? Basically, you got to look at them thing factors into it, and it's
Oh yeah.
like I got
Yeah.
Canva. I do pay a little. I don't have the biggest baddest premium, but I do have a little extra on Canva, which I use it every week. I use that every
Right.
week um, to make stuff and everything all the time. So because I mean, all the any you know, option that's worth a darn, they're gonna have it as a it's a premium option,
Oh yeah,
most
yeah,
generic, basic ass shit you can get find and like, oh yeah, you can have this. This is free. Nobody would want to use it, but it's free. It's yours. But for another, you know, 9.99 a month, we can fix you up.
yeah. I don't remember
Oh,
which one it was, but there was one of those. I think I talked to this a while ago. I was looking for other paranormal streaming services, and there was one that I found, and luckily I don't remember the name of it now because I wouldn't want to say the name anyway. But the when I got there, and looked at it, there was the initial payment to sign up for it, and 90% of the content was like, again, ghost hunting shows. Now I'm fine with a ghost hunting show, but when your entire thing is made up of just, most of your content is just that, I'm sorry, I don't need that. I don't need to pay for that. There's enough of that online. You know, I mean, friends of the show that put out shows for free that do ghost hunting. Why,
mm-hmm.
and then the other stuff that was like discussions of topics and things, boom, paywall. You got to sign up for the premium for that. And I'm like, dang, there's people I know and myself, we're doing a lot of this stuff for free. That kind of, discussion of topics, kind of stuff. That's what we do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, no, sorry, click, goodbye.
Yeah, what was it? I forget the one that it's got like. I know there's one I'd like to have just because there's like one show I want to watch on there, but it's like I can't pay for a subscription for one damn show. It's just
Yeah,
and then I'll forget about it, and the next thing I know, I'll pay $500 these people.
right.
But like you said, there's so much content. Like it is like you just need a bunch of little documentary or ghost hunting or whatever. It's like and it's all over. You can get a lot of that on YouTube. But a lot
Yeah,
of the ghost hunting shows, a lot of the ones that are on Discovery and all that are on YouTube right now.
right.
I know I sent you that one. That was Jason from Ghost Hunters. He got a
Yeah,
YouTube channel and he's doing ghost hunting on YouTube. It's like I'm sure they're making just as much or not more money doing that than without the uh, without the nannies telling them what they can say or they can.
exactly. Or having to have something happen every second. That
Hmm.
video you sent me, there was some stuff in there that was amazing, that was interesting, but it wasn't the jump scare, cut the commercial kind of thing like the major networks want you to do.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Dun 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 and boom.
Yeah,
You need Tide Plus. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what the hell? Get out of here. You know. But yeah, you can turn around and of course, like I have. Yeah, I'm just carrying on with you. Yeah, I got YouTube Premium. That's one of the few subscriptions I pay for.
yes,
Like it's worth its money weight in gold to me because that's what I if I'm just being a veg and not doing nothing, I got YouTube playing. I actually got YouTube playing on the other side of the room right now. The cats are watching it, but you know, yeah, it's
yeah.
no
For all their
commercials, no
faults,
BS. I
yeah,
get free music
yes,
comes with it,
yep,
so I don't have to have Pandora or on any other subscriptions or Spotify. You know,
yeah,
plus my YouTube videos are free. I got a YouTube service that's got all the music, just like Spotify, all the podcasts,
yes,
all that stuff sitting on there, so I can watch or do all that if I want to. You know, it's got movies, got good movies on there for free. It's part of the premium, whatever you can watch. Full feature movies and stuff.
yeah. It,
It's
for
hard.
all of
Hard
its,
not to just get that and not have nothing else. You could
yep,
truly have YouTube Premium and not have nothing else and have plenty of content to watch and never worry.
yeah. And it's funny because for all of YouTube and Google's faults and all that, yeah, they're big, huge companies, so I don't care for them, but streaming services now for music, you're gonna pay the same as you do for that YouTube Premium, just for the music. And so it's just, yeah, I'd rather just get that premium and be done with it.
No counts as if there's any our free chupacabra on crackers. I mean, I'm sure there is. I know that I've watched some documentaries on chupacabras and all kinds of stuff on YouTube. They got a bunch of UFO documentaries. They got all kinds of stuff. All you do is watch a few things and get it in the algorithm, and boom.
Yep.
Yeah, Mr.
Yep.
Willis, he likes YouTube Music Premium. Yeah, it's great. You pop up. Um, some days I hate YouTube. I won't lie. Well, I'm sitting on YouTube right now live stream, but
Yeah.
I do like the music. Um, let's being honest, and I found a lot of songs that I never would have found if it wasn't for that, because I ain't gonna play them on the radio.
Yep.
You know, I found it just sitting there letting music play in the background while I'm working on my house or working on a car or working on something, and all of a sudden I'm like, the hell song is that? That's
Yeah.
it sounds good. What is that? I don't know what that is. So I turn around and stop and find out who sang it and who it was, and I'll usually try to like it or something. That way I hit a little like so I can go back and see what else they got good music. What else do I like? And so
Yeah.
hell, that's like I said, that right there worth its way to go to me. Pay like $10 a month for all that. I think it's 15 now. I think it went
Yeah, I
up.
think it is too. Yep.
You know, the price of a Happy Meal,
Yeah.
a Big Mac meal, or whatever. I swear, like, not to get way off topic, but I was sitting there talking to somebody. I was like, it's like I don't truly don't even want to eat out at fast food anymore.
No.
Gas station food either. Even though it's good, like especially down here, gas station food is better than a lot of people's restaurants and stuff in other places. Seriously, but it's like it's so damn expensive. It's like I can turn around. I can go to a lot of sit down restaurants. I can sit down
Yes.
Mexican restaurant and spend the same amount of money. I just spent $15 at Taco Bell for three things and a drink, and I didn't get nothing special. I'm like, for $16, I could have sat down at a Mexican restaurant and ate.
Yep.
For the same price, I could have ate. And especially if I get off like lunch menu or something like that, I sure enough can eat for less than that. It's like, you know, I don't know.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. It's trying to figure out where to put your money for all just the paranormal stuff is can be tricky at times.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny too though because so I don't read physical books anymore, and it's funny because if I did, I'd probably be in a lot more trouble because I'd be wanting to get all kinds of books all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but instead, what I'd have to do is listen to things, and I do that Audible uh, audiobook website because overall they work, and I can still get some decent books off of there here and there. So uh, that's where I found out about that whole thing with people putting clothing in their walls in their houses for insulation. Wasn't from an audiobook on there,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Yeah, speaking of books, like my brother, he probably got enough to make his own library now.
mm.
Well, my mom's the same way. She goes get books and she got like a stack by her chair or
Oh
whatever,
my
and she
gosh,
reads. He reads all the time. Of course, she was a librarian for almost 20 years, so. But she always read books, before that, of course. But
yeah, it's the sad thing is, I mean, this is again somewhat related. there's still so many books that have not been turned into audiobooks, and so I'm always running up against that bit of a challenge there. Um, there are some ways you can get like PDF, like the ebooks read to you, but a lot of times it's through like a really basic, robot sounding voice, and it's not fun. You can
I
do it.
bet.
I don't care for it, but
He walked through the woods,
yeah, yeah,
tree,
yeah. You get like punctuation and all that wrong, like
with
start
no
and
no
stop in
emotion.
weird places, and
Yeah, no emotion.
yeah,
The ghost went boo.
yeah. I was so frightened.
Oh, it'll be funny for a little bit.
Yeah,
It'll
oh
be
yeah,
hilarious for a little bit. All of a sudden, you're just sitting there and like, ah. Especially it would be something. It should be like you watch something like a murder mystery or something like that. It should be creepy and
yeah.
you know, and he
Oh,
hid the
even
weapon behind the tree. But you don't hear that. You don't hear that. And the mysterious voice. You hear he hid that weapon behind tree.
yeah. I mean, even when I
Police
read stuff,
could not find tree.
there were so many trees they could not find the right tree. But no, even when I do my shows where I read people's experiences and stuff. I mean, I'm not putting a ton of emotion because you don't want to be like too extreme, but it's still more than what you get on a basic, e-reader kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah, when I read my pre-recorded shorts and stuff like, and I haven't done a pre-recorded regular show in a while, but when I did that, like I always try to put a little yeah, emphasis on certain parts. It needs a little extra. Like so you don't want to go out carried and being silly or goofy, I guess over the top, but
Right.
certain things need more emphasis but yeah, just hearing a robot just sit there, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it'll be funny for a little while, and then it'll get old. I can see that really fast. Like I couldn't sit through a whole book or somebody just.
But some people can.
I,
I've
I mean,
heard
I've
some
heard like
people.
YouTube videos like that where they get like a
Yeah.
robot sounding voice, and I'm like, oh, I can't do this. Like, and it's an interesting. Like, I'm interested in the subject,
Yeah.
what they're saying. I'm like curious on, but I'm like, I can't sit through this damn thing because it's just like flat and just whatever. I can't. There's.
And then what's hilarious about that is I've had random comments on YouTube here and there, just like one or two ever, where they're like, you should get someone to read your stuff for you, or you should get a computer to read your stuff for you. I'm like, really? I have a lot of people that listen to me. I don't think I'm that bad. I'm sorry. Thank you for your feedback, but you know, like
Hey, you had 20,000 downloads in a day. Hell, they just go on around
3 days. But yeah,
3 days. Yeah,
that was the weirdest thing. We were talking about that before the show. For anyone who doesn't know,
yeah, yeah.
um,
Little insider talk there.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't know. You're always going to have somebody that's going to turn around, and criticize. I had a couple mutual friends, and one of them's got like a really huge following. Like he's got like I think he's like and now I think he's almost like a million on Facebook
wow,
and the same on TikTok. He's got multiple channels, whatever. He's got all in all, he's got millions of followers, and he's like, of course, a mutual friend's like, you need to do this to your show. You could do this and this and this, and they would make him
right,
like he's done it this way and got millions of followers. Like leave him alone. It's
yeah,
ridiculous. Like people that haven't done anything or tried to make anything work. And somebody's busted their ass for like last 4 years, 5 years, It's like to make content and then turn around and go, oh, you should do it this way. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's one
come on,
thing,
y'all.
for like a suggestion here and there, like people, give suggestions, and sometimes things really work out. Like you find something, and wow, that really works for me. But a lot of times, you can look at that suggestion and be like, that's not. I don't think I can do that so well. That's not going to work for me, you know. And most people are, they're fine. They're just suggesting things. But yeah, every once in a while you get someone that's just, you should do it this way.
I mean, there's always, like you said, there's always good constructive criticism, or have you tried this or whatever. There's ways of doing things, but then also there's some people just like, "Man, you don't need to do it that way. You need to do it. You need to do it my way. Like you need to do it this way. Well, you go do it your way, and you do your own damn channel. You
Yeah,
know, I'm all about tweaks and stuff. Hey, you do a little extra, or like,
yeah,
maybe we adjust the lighting a little bit, maybe look a little better, or juice the mic up. We had that. I know I had that with like people. Hey, you need to juice the mic up a little more. I'm like, all right, well, I bought a box where I can actually juice the mic up a little more, if I need to. So,
right.
little tweaks like that, yeah, that's cool. But like, for people that never tried to do anything, like, but that's just how some people are. It's all cool though. You know,
Yep,
we all have our gifts and what we can do and what we're able to do and what we'll allow ourselves to take the time to do. Also.
yep. Yeah. Well, if you want to talk to the chat for a minute, I gotta go and get some water in my eyes real quick. Uh, I'll be right
Splash a little
back.
water in your face.
Yeah, literally, unfortunately, gotta get those eyes
Uh,
wet.
yeah, I understand. No, you're good.
So, all right, be right back.
No, yeah, I hadn't said nothing to the chat tonight, really, other than very vaguely. And we're over our end. Appreciate y'all being here. I see on YouTube, I see Count, I see Brother Willie, Victorian Cryptid Research from all the way from down under is here. Appreciate you. Monique and Blake's here. Bonnie's is here. And that's it on the YouTube. Let's see. Nostradamus, Hiker, Miss Karen Carpenter, Cubs Future. I know I'm missing one or two, but I appreciate y'all. Um, and for being here for sure. Tonight's been a. If you missed the very beginning, I was running a little behind. I was helping my mom and dad work on their air conditioner, and they live like an hour away, so I had to get over there and then haul butt back home and set everything up, which takes a minute. I had to speed run. That's what the title is. The title because there's just something popped in my head and it's silly as hell. So, talking food. There's no wrong talking food. I talk always good to have some fun ideas. I got to eat some. I'm talking about this real quick while waiting on Jane. I guess sit there and I had some soul food yesterday. I had some my students grapple at a tournament. It was downtown Memphis. I walked down Main Street and there was a soul food restaurant and I went down there and the guy was like, "Man, we whatever you want. We got breakfast right here. We got this. We got a little bit of everything." And I was like, "Hmm." So I got some chicken and dressing, and it wasn't just like chicken and dressing where like pieces of chicken were just in some dressing. It was full pieces of like a chicken leg and half a chicken breast with some dressing. I had yams and spaghetti, cause spaghetti's a side dish, and some banana pudding. About messed myself up because I ate it there at the tournament, waiting on my other student to get to his turn to grapple, and about messed me up. I wanted to take a nap. I almost went on in a food coma right there at the tournament. It'd been pretty funny.
What are we eating that
It'd
you're
been
going into
pretty
food
funny.
comas?
I had chicken and dressing, yams, and spaghetti with
Oh
some
man.
banana pudding for dessert.
Oh, banana
Yeah,
pudding is so good.
yeah, that's what I ate for lunch yesterday. And I sat there and they're talking about food in the Rumble chat. So yeah, that's what I ate for lunch. I had some of my students at a grappling tournament yesterday, and they did good.
Hmm.
Everybody got silver, so and had two first timers. They did really well. I was proud of them. And like I said, just getting out there, I'm proud of them no matter what. So
Oh yeah.
and then yeah, it was cool. It was a good day.
My grandma used to make banana pudding a lot for family gatherings, and now one of my cousins does sometimes, and yeah, so good.
Yeah, it was a long day. I went to help Jamie uh, from the show from Wednesday's night show. I helped that Jamie and Whitney. Um, had some fights that night, so I went and helped them. Uh, he wanted me to come help him out, so I went and helped him out, and I was running back and forth, running. I was in the cage, taking fighters back up to Whitney so she could do like after um, the winter interviews and stuff like that. So they were going on Facebook Live and doing an interview, and then I had to help her get. We had to like do some. I had to do some IT work because the damn thing we didn't want to go. Didn't want
Mm,
to go live. She's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And I was like, "Well, let me slide in there." And so I got on there. And I got it going for her. It was just one of them days. It was a good day
yeah,
though. Uh,
that's good.
yeah, it was fun. Little chaos at the end, but it happens. Everybody's hungry in the chat. Sorry, chat. It is late. It's down. It's dinner time everywhere. So at some point, somewhere is dinner time. I guess 5 o'clock
Oh
somewhere. I
yeah.
guess.
Oh my gosh, I tell you what, Sundays I have to make sure I eat before the show starts because then I also usually co-host on over on Troubled Minds. So if I don't eat before this show starts, I'm not gonna be able to eat until after midnight my time.
Hmm.
So it's like even if I'm only a little bit hungry, I will usually eat something before the show starts because if I don't, it's not fun.
Yeah, I usually try to eat before the show and everything because and usually I've been busy running around doing things and I usually don't eat a whole lot during the day. Maybe snack
Right.
here and there. So yeah, it's gotta eat, gotta eat, gotta eat. It's why we don't get everybody hungry though.
It happens on most streams. It seems like someone eventually will mention food somewhere.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was on the uh, Anarchy Saturday Anarchy show, and I think somebody brought up some food one time. We were sitting there, and it. Well, I don't forget what it was. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm over here. I'm like, y'all got me. Damn y'all. I had to go get some of my cold pizza out of the fridge and eat some cold pizza because I just like all them talking about food and everything got me thinking about it. Made me hungry. So
Yeah.
I got some cold pizza in there, which I could have heated up, I guess, but yeah, it'd be all right.
Yeah.
I, s- I see Michael Strange is doing a show tonight. He will, nothing, unless something crazy happens. So we will be about 29 minutes. We still got 30 minutes for the show to go, but uh, Vessels of the Returning Sky
Yeah.
should be
Def-
interesting.
Definitely recommend that show, Trouble Minds. Uh, I'm
Oh
usually
yeah.
there talking with Mike, and it's always a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's good. Like I said, for me, that's where I met James and so many others, and motivated me to do this. Doing live streams and stuff was because of Michael Strange and everybody, with the family and stuff. So I'm always going to shout them out. I got to meet a lot of amazing people all around the world so far. It's pretty cool. Thanks, Shadow. Go on. He's right here underneath my mic.
So I
There's
keep
Tail.
finding still reports of people's pets teleporting.
Oh
I'm still
wow.
finding accounts of that here and there. Uh, Cats and dogs, which is really fascinating because again I've had my own experiences with Logan, with my cat doing that to me. Uh, it's either teleporting or it's astral projecting, where they're in one spot but their image is in another spot. But it doesn't even work with what happened with me with Logan because I think I've told this before, but hey, here we go again. Uh, there was once where I was sitting on the corner of my bed, and she was sitting there looking at me across the room a little ways. And I look in the opposite direction for some reason, just thinking about things, and she's coming at me from the opposite end of the room,
Hmm.
and there's no way to get around me from where I was sitting without me seeing her or feeling. If she jumped, she had to like jump on the bed to go behind me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd feel that. And also, she wasn't close to the bed, so I would see her going to the bed. But yeah, I've had that a couple times with her vanishing and then being there, and then I turn around, face a completely different direction, no sound, no sight of movement or anything like that, and she's just right there. And I found some accounts very similar to that.
Yeah, you hear a lot of things like that, and a lot of like ghost cats and stuff like that. Just
Oh yeah,
or animals. Like when Mom was on here, she was she told a story about uh, I don't remember, it was a ghost cat or dog. I can't remember which one it was now. I think I told a story as one, and it was the opposite or something like that. But I forget it was a cat or a dog. But and she turned around and she seen it outside, and she was like, "All right, let me go get you some food," and went back inside to get some food, and then she come back outside and it was gone, and she waited and tried to find the animal and could not find it, and then she got up on the so well I gotta leave. So she
yeah,
put stuff up, got in her car, and took off. And if she had been left when she did, there was a wreck happened right before her.
yeah.
For her, the timing was, just like it was. She could have possibly been running right in the middle of a wreck. Instead, she had to deal with the traffic get around it. But you know,
And it's
it's
weird with ghost animals and cats and stuff like that because there are a ton of stories of people having experiences with their former pets. Coming back to visit them or to help out, and like in that story in different ways. But then there's also just random people having encounters with random uh, cats and dogs, and I've had that with. I have a ghost cat that stops by here once in a while, and it's not a cat that I've ever had, that as far as I know, and but it's this big fluffy white cat, and it first time I saw it, it was in the middle of daylight, like I said, which is an amazing thing, middle of the daytime, and I thought I saw Logan sitting at the window next to the front door, but I thought she was I thought that because the sun was shining down so hard, I thought it was making her look all white because that's all I saw was just all this all white cat. Um, but then it walked behind the door, and I went and opened the door slowly, but then I closed it once I got back in, no cat behind the door. And I went and looked for Logan, and she was asleep on a rocking chair.
Hmm.
And I realized, no, that cat was all white. It wasn't just the sun hitting Logan, making her fading out her dark parts. Because she has dark on her head and back and everything. It
Hmm.
was she was this was an all white cat, and that was amazing to me because I don't have a lot of like I had a few when I was a kid, more so than but then as I got older, a lot of my experiences there with sounds or with feelings, not a ton of visual stuff, or in dreams. And but this was in the middle of the day. I was wide awake, coming home from errands, and boom, ghost cat in the window, and I even mistook it for being Logan.
Uh, yeah, I mean, you never know. And like mom on mom's story, if y'all go back and listen to her show, still gotta get my mom to come back on and tell some more.
Yeah.
But we had she was talking about her dog Hurt had passed away, for a few weeks before that, and they had my grandfather used to be part of a big CB club back in the day, like the ham radio and stuff like that. Especially in the '70s, that was huge. He had 100-foot antenna. He could talk around the world. Like he had some power. He
Hmm.
had all the amplifiers and everything he had, and with the tower and stuff he had, he could reach out. But he had some people over, and I guess they been drinking or whatever. And one guy dropped his cigarette inside the couch, and when they all went to bed, and it caught, of course, nowadays, cigarettes are made. They got stuff in them, extra chemicals in them on top of everything, all the rest of the chemicals. But if it, would still go out after a little bit.
Yeah.
Back then, of course, they didn't. A lot of houses caught on fire because of people falling asleep with cigarettes and dropping them and catching shit on
Hmm.
fire. And it caught the couch on fire, and my grandfather's talked about how coming there, and all of a sudden Hurt come in the bedroom, was waking him up and barking at him and jumping on the bed and like, hey, I was like, what the hell does you want, boy? And then he got up and seen the couch was on fire, and he got everybody out of the house. And then he drug the couch out, before it burnt the house down. And and my mom was like, Daddy, how did you even know the couch was on fire? He's like, well, Hurt told me. He's like, what? He's like, well, Hurt told me. He's like, Daddy, Hurt's been gone for a while. He's like, well, Hurt told me. So it's one of them things that you wonder if it's like it is the ghost like of that loved animal, or I mean,
Yeah.
or is it one like your guardian angel sitting there, you know, putting himself, transforming himself in something they know you will pay attention to.
Yep.
They knew he would pay attention to her because if he was acting, like mom, they knew mom would stop and try to feed an animal if there's on their porch, uh, you know, kind of thing. So, I wonder that sometimes is it really, that loved one, um, you know, coming back and still, overlooking them and protecting them after, even after they're gone,
Yeah.
or was it, like I said, is it your guardian angel converting themselves into an image that they knew you would react to? So I wonder them questions sometimes.
And I wonder too. It's amazing how there are so many reports like that, experiences like that, where there is a purpose, for whatever is happening. But then there's just so many out there where, where it's like, why? How is this happening, and why? And there's never a connection after. Like, oh, that's why that happened.
Hmm.
You know, it's like this ghost cat here. There's nothing. I've never had any emergency happening where they were trying to get my attention. It makes me wonder also because of how rare it is that they actually come here. Because one of the times that I heard it walking around on the table behind my TV, it happened right in between two of my blue light sightings. and there was one of these blue light sightings where I was standing outside before this thing with the ghost cat, and I was asking questions in my mind because it's I figured out like the first time I saw it, I said hello in my mind, and it said hello back, and I was trying to ask questions, like who are you, where are you from, why are you here, and I was standing outside, and I heard this big bump from inside my apartment, and I went and looked, and everything was fine, but it makes me wonder, like, is there something? In other words, are the blue lights that I've seen in the sky, are they also the ghost cat? Or was the ghost cat drawn here that one time because of the blue lights? Or, all these questions, because really, I have no idea. I can't say it for sure. Yeah, the blue lights, the ghost cat and the blue lights, they're the same being. No, I can't say that. No one ever told me that. They didn't tell me that. Um, so I don't know. But it was the timing of it was kind of weird when it happened.
Absolutely. It's just one of them questions, like um, another one of them questions I don't think we'll ever really get the answer to.
Yeah,
Exactly what these things are. I guess until we get to the other side and get the knowledge and
yeah, yeah. It's been a while now, quite a while now since I feel like I've had a visit from that ghost cat. Like it's been months, maybe years. Um, so of course now I say that now it's probably gonna be like, hey, how you doing? Yeah,
heard you miss me.
yeah. You summon me? It's like, well, no, but
Yeah,
okay.
heard you miss me, James. Here I am.
Yeah,
I'm back.
yeah.
Yeah,
I guess I see. I guess now I'm thinking about it. I can't say that for sure because there's been a couple times I've heard that kitchen cupboard door closing sound. So it could have been back, just stopping by, just real quick. Boom, they're gone.
hmm Yeah, I wondered on some it could be stuff like that. I wonder because we talked about before, like in my old house, you'd hear that you'd hear doors open up and close, and boop, you hear that cabinet door or something pop, open up and
Yeah,
close real quick or something, and it's almost like like, well, where's the cat at? Because it sounds like it's the time frame that could a cat like pull itself through a door or whatever, and then I'm like,
yeah.
look down, they're both in my lap, and they're looking over there too, trying to figure out what the hell that was. I'm like, okay, I don't want to know what that was. Let me
Well,
turn
that's
let
yeah.
me turn the TV up a little louder.
And so much of this is, I mean, it's so much is not like what you see on TV. It's not huge bangs. It's not, always full on apparitions. It's little stuff like little sounds here and there, and little sounds here and there where like you hear them and you can explain them. You actually know your cat is like near that one cupboard door. Oh, okay, that was them. And but then, so the some of these beings, whatever they are, even I mean human ghosts, I'm guessing too, they'll do things that make just enough sound or show themselves just enough to where it's like, was that normal? Was that someone I know in the house that's also here at the time or right now, or was that door closing? Was that was that air movement or? But then sometimes you get feelings like sometimes when it happens, I'll get a feeling like there's some energy here. There's something here, and I'll hear a sound, and then it'll stop, and that energy, that feeling will go away. So, but so much of this is more subtle than what you're gonna find on movies and TV.
Hmm Well, TV, like you said before, where we were talking about all the paranormal shows, on main television, like on Discovery, whatever. They gotta juice it up a little bit. They
Hmm.
they gotta do the jump scares, or even if they don't have it, it's they doctor up the music or whatever and make it sound like something
Yes.
amazing is about to happen, and then go to commercial and you come back and it's like nothing.
Yeah. I
Nothing happened during the commercial break whatsoever. They're just like,
yeah.
oh, there's a there's a doll over here. Okay, cool. Or
Yeah.
something just random or just simple. It's like it wasn't nothing. Oh my God, it's the most amazing paranormal situation in life. It's hey, there's a doll over here. That's or something like that. Just something simple and like all that extra music wasn't needed. All that.
I've even noticed that with that paranormal, those paranormal video, when I'm thinking of as paranormal caught on camera, as you get into like their later seasons, when something happens, they'll say, watch this video for this to happen. But then they'll do that with the music. They'll hype it up, or they'll put in sound effects with the thing that you're supposed to be watching. And it's like if
Mhm.
you're not paying attention, you could think, oh, that sound. Wow, that was a weird thing on the screen. There was a weird sound too, but it's like no, they didn't say that there was a weird sound. They just said there was a weird thing caught in a weird image caught on the video. So then it's like, oh, so they're adding sounds. Great, thanks.
Mhm.
But again, it's to build up that hype to get that reaction.
No, absolutely. The music and affects you, and tones, affect you. It really does.
Yeah.
In all aspects of it's funny how truly I don't say it's funny how it's I don't think that's the right word for it, but it's amazing how absolutely you think about it. You driving down the car down the road and you can listen to sad songs and you're gonna be sad. You're gonna be thinking about stuff and I'm really deep in, or if you hear like up top tempo like fun loving music, you're gonna be happier and like just in a different vibe. And I know with like grocery stores and stuff like that, they use that with the music and stuff. They use that music
Hmm.
through the day, during the morning hours when things are slow. If you go in there and listen, it's all slower music. It's real kind of slow and methodical and whatever, and slower type music is being played. You get music around rush hour about 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and it's very high tempo because they're trying to, all right, let's get you in and out.
Right.
We don't need you hanging around the whole time because we're gonna have a store full of damn people. But during the
Yes.
day, let's let the people sit here and walk around and be slow and thinking about, and they'll spend more.
Right.
During the rush hour, they're like, hey, let's get the people in and out. Let's be efficient. Let's get them in and out. Boom, 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 boom. And then once that's off, as soon as there's a certain point of like 7, 8 o'clock, all of a sudden the music slowly starts going back into that slower down, take your time. Especially like if you had when you had 24-hour stores
Right.
back in the day. Sad. It's sad we don't have 24-hour stores anymore.
And
But
yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
go ahead.
I've just been noticing too, like, so I recently there's a store a bigger like a chain store I used to go to a lot, and I won't say which one. It's not important, but the last few times I've gone there and I've asked for assistance shopping, from someone there. Last couple of times at least, they didn't have anyone available to help me shop, for things to look at prices for things for me. And for a while, I've been noticing like in this chain store, they're understaffed. The people that are working there are not happy. The
Mm.
music is always just like like just top 40, whatever is popular. Um, and it's just I don't like the feeling in that store anymore. And I just stopped going. I haven't been there now for a few weeks because I don't like it. And but there's this one family-owned store I go to that's near me, and they always have like this upbeat kind of 50s, 60s, 70s radio on, like, but it's always like fairly upbeat, happy, not nothing negative.
Mm-hmm.
And their employees there, like, I never have a problem with them. They always have someone help me. They're always, like, no one's ever in a terrible mood when they're work as far as workers go. and I just it's a little more expensive, but also I just prefer going there.
Yeah, I mean, there's you know convenience and it just feel better. I mean, you spend extra 50 cents on your beans or whatever you get, and it's I
Yeah,
think it's well worth it too. Um, and it's good to support them family owned grocery stores. There's far fewer and
yep,
fewer between now, and well, like and we got one in Senatobia, and they did get bought up by a little bit bigger, but they're still smaller. And they're like, well, we need this and we need that. We're like, well, we don't need one of these big chains. We got Walmart, that's big enough.
yeah,
Um, but we need, we just need to support the little store we got. It's, we get one of these big chains or whatever, and all it's going to do is, hurt the family owned stuff. Time you get a big chain of this or that, it just hurts the family owned stuff in town. So,
yep.
you know, for
And I
sure, I do
mean,
believe, shop local when you can, and like even if like I said, if you pay extra 50 cents or a dollar or something for it, like so.
yeah, and I mean, especially if you can, the family-owned place has a really good feeling about it.
Hmm.
Why wouldn't you want to go there instead
Hmm.
of? I mean, Walmart now. That's a whole that's a meme. Like you never know what's gonna happen at Walmart. That's like there's like memes, like tons of news stories and just weird reports of just you never know what you're gonna find when you go there. And and then you have other stores where it's just they're not being funded enough or whatever, or there's not enough employees, and everyone is kind of not happy, and it's just not great to be around.
Hmm. Yeah, and like you know, like Walmart, man. Back in the day, I remember as a kid, I seen Sam Walton when
Mm.
I was a kid. I mean, it freaked me out. And his old truck was out front. Yeah, he drove an old '60s truck, I think it was, or '50s. Um, he was very simple. Back in the day when it was Walmart was pushed, everything American made and all that, um,
Mm.
and I remember sitting there at the come. We walked by the customer service. Used to have it in like a little rectangle. So as soon as you walked in the door, so you saw customer service right there instead of up, towards the front like they are now.
Right.
And I looked over at him and sitting there, and he spoke to us and stuff. And then I'm like, that dude looks familiar. And I looked, and there's this picture on the wall.
Oh,
And I'm like, there's Sam Walton. Look, the picture and him is it's the same. And he was there. He was working behind the counter, I guess, for a second. And but it was pretty cool. But after once his children took over, it turned into a whole different thing. And a lot of places are. It's. But if you have a place that you feel good, and there's a hardware store here in local, like I like going there because everybody's really nice. Everybody
hmm
work with you. You know, hey, if you need help, you try to. I was, I went to Home Depot there in Memphis one day with my son-in-law. Hell, we couldn't get help. We sat there for 40 minutes, couldn't get nobody to come help us.
yeah,
And I'm like, well, we need to go down there and at least now closer to me is a little better. Like even the Home Depot down in South Haven, I was like, hell, this one up here, hey, it happened to him a couple of times. We couldn't not get any help.
wow, yeah,
It's like, I know if I went down like to the little hardware store down here, I went in, hey, I need help. They'd ask me as soon as I walk in the door, hey, what you need help with?
right,
What you looking for? We can point you in the right direction so you don't have to wander around. Like
yep,
I know where I'm. Someday I'm like, I think I know what I want. I don't. I think I know where it is today, but I might need help.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, it's crazy. Um, how some places are nowadays, and it's sad.
yep. Yep, go where the energy works with you. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Absolutely.
place is also the same place where I had one time one person bump into me with their cart and then just look and then walk away. You know, like no apologies or anything like that. And another guy right behind me, as we were leaving the store, literally said, "Hey, can you go faster, please?" Like not even please, like go faster or something like that. It was like this, really rough tone. I was like, I almost stopped because I was so surprised because I had my cane and everything. like, like you're gonna say that to someone that has a cane that is like obviously has some kind of vision problem.
He's
Wow.
like, I'm blind. Come on now, man.
Yeah, yeah, I was really
What are you
surprised.
rushing me
Usually,
for? I don't know.
because usually when I'm out there, people if they see that if they see I have a cane, at the very least they're gonna get out of my way or not bug
Mhm.
me in general.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's you
uh,
know, I've gone to I've gone out to eat with Whitney and Jamie before, and like a lot of times most people are super cool, nice. Like, hey, we were moving the table around to get it ready, before we can, have her spot,
right,
make sure it's convenient for her and not in the way kind of thing and stuff like that. Find the right table, whatever. And I remember, being in places and they're like, hey, there are people around, like, hey, you need us to move a little bit so you can give them a little more room, like,
right.
super, super nice, understanding the situation. But there's, like there's assholes everywhere. There's no other word for it, There's just assholes
Yeah,
everywhere, and and they're more worried about themselves, and it's sad, they're, you know, I mean, on one side you do need to be, concern yourself, and make sure you're good before, but
right.
you gotta be good to people. You still like,
Yeah.
have understanding, like, hey, somebody, they're 90 years old. I'm not gonna shove them to the ground because I'm in a
Oh my
hurry to get
gosh.
my can of beans or something, just all right. Let me wait a second and let the people get out of the way. I don't know. It
Yep.
just some people just have no consideration. Like, and hopefully, hopefully they'll never have to have that situation happen, or they'll have to deal with with it. But you know,
Yeah.
it could.
Yep. Yep. You never know.
Hmm.
Things can change when you least expect it.
In a heartbeat. There's like one young guy. They did a fundraiser for him last night at the attitude fights and stuff, and he was, young guy, I think, like 30, something like that, maybe. I know he's not very old, and athlete, competes all the time. He's a cop, he does all kind, and like and turn around, boom, he got cancer,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
he had to have surgery and stuff like that, and and so they did a fundraiser, which was pretty cool. I tell you, to brag on Jamie. So when y'all come back Wednesday, maybe y'all can mess with him. But like, he was going to give one of his coats off his back, literally pull to get the coat off his back. Say, hey, we're going to do an auction for this coat, and so we can see, raise money for him. And
Nice.
the guy that won the auction turned around and told him just keep the coat, and then they turned around, they did which was pretty cool. They were like telling everybody, come up here, if you got any money, just throw it in there. And so people were just handing in money. We and we were I was one of the runners and stuff like that. And we're just dropping money in the cage and stuff like that. And they put it together. And I think they raised like $1,800, something like that.
That's good.
Just generosity of the people in the crowd and stuff like that, which was pretty cool. Just and he was the the funny in a funny way, I guess it was. He was actually watching from the hospital room, and he was
Mm.
he's actually, he messaged Jamie and was crying, sitting there saying, how much he appreciated everybody. And then they took him, I know one of his teammates, they took him the money to the hospital that night. Like, as soon as they left the event, they took the money up there. So, it's pretty cool, be part of that, help out with that and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good thing. It was a good thing. Well, James, we got Trouble Minds starting soon. You wanna go ahead and do your shout out yourself?
Yeah. Well, thank you all for listening in. For those that don't know me, I do my own show. It's called Salcedo Paranormal, and you can find all the episodes of the show, along with the links to all the social media and ways to support the show, and also friends of the show, over at my website, which is salcedoparanormal.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.com. And yeah, thank you for having me on, Ricky, and always happy to be here. And if y'all want more paranormal stuff, that website is where you can find 1,045 episodes of it as of now. So plenty to listen to there. Start with the more recent stuff, please, because it'll be better.
Go back and forth. I'll say that. Go back
True.
and forth for sure. Like if y'all go back and watch like the first episode of Talking with Conspiracy with me and Jamie, you know how things were, or just watch some of the early stuff for me. It's like, well, one, you're going to have a different background. Like you can see the progression of the background behind me, and then you can tell like the lighting gets better, the microphone gets better. It's just me,
Yeah.
my flow gets better a little bit,
Yes.
I guess. It's amazing. More we can do it. But yeah, appreciate y'all being here for sure. That's that's wild hiker. That could be something. I've been down there. She's had her hair stood on end in the basement the other day, but nothing too freaky.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's there's a reasoning behind it. Especially like you just walking through, like that down my son, that shadow person. It was like you just felt that energy, and like you said, your hair is kind of standing a little bit. And you're like, what is that? And then you turn around and there's something there. I was like, we have gifts, we have senses. If we pay attention to them, I think we can do more and do better.
Yep.
But I appreciate y'all for sure, for y'all listening and being here every week. Make sure if you're for the lurkers, make sure y'all like and subscribe, and check out the descriptions for some of our friends, and for the merch and all that kind of fun stuff. We'll be back for sure Wednesday. Well, I'll be back for sure Wednesday. James might. We'll see what the discussion is. If James pops in or not. Um, you know, back Wednesday, 8:30 Central Time. We're talking with conspiracy, and so it's gonna be. I'm sure it'll be a good one as always. Possible day shows coming up this week. I know I say it every time, but I got to pop one in sometime this week. I know I got to get my numbers. Plus, I got some premium content coming for Rumble, so make sure you're on Rumble. Um, and yeah, you're right. Let me I pause because they want to chat. There we go. We're going to hit they're ready for teleportation. And over here in the Rumble, I'm just going to send, and then I'm going to hit the music because I'm halfway behind. So it could
Yep.
have been
And I'm
all day
gonna
long.
I'm
So
gonna head out. So take
all
care,
right,
everyone.
James, appreciate y'all. Y'all take care, and Rumble, I'm sending you on your way, and I'm gonna hit the outro music. Appreciate y'all. All right, this now it's just me. Much love, everybody. Let's go.
Don't want no shackles on me. Don't want no shackles. Don't want no shackles on me. I sat down with Big Brother. Don't like those RFIDs. Got the blues about my freedom. Got the blues about tyranny. I got the blues about my freedom. Got the blues about tyranny. I sat down with Big Brother and the national ID. Don't want a chip in my wallet, chip in my car. And if I want to travel, it's nobody's business how far. Don't want no shackles. Don't want no shackles on me. I said shame on Big Brother, always tracking and tracing me. Don't want a chip in my mother, chip in my wife, a chip in my babies. Stay out of our life. Don't want no shackles. Don't want no shackles on me. I sat down with Big Brother. No more slavery. Play it for me, baby. Now, do you want a chip in your forehead, a chip in your arm, always tweaking your brain and causing you harm? Don't want no shackles. Don't want no shackles on me. I sat down with Big Brother in the good old USA. I sat down with Big Brother. 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 Don't want a spy chip in me. Everybody. I sat down with